Hello and welcome all you basketball fans for another installment of high school basketball on ysnlive.com. Ty Bartell, your sports network. We're live from the Canton Memorial Fieldhouse for this Division IV Region 13 Regional Semifinal matchup, as the Canfield Cardinals are set to take on the Warrensville Heights Tigers in a rematch of last year's regional semifinal matchup from almost a year to the date. It was March 14th, same place right here at the Memorial Fieldhouse, where the Cardinals beat the Tigers 68-46 to advance to the regional final round. Two different teams in a different year, as the opening tip goes out of bounds and to the Cards. Your starting five. Cardinals are the visiting team, donning the black unis with red trim and numbering. It's Ben Weaver, Jake Delicio, Drew Shapiro, Bryce Roberts, and Landon Shina. For the home team, the Warrensville Heights Tigers, donning the white unis with the yellow trim, black numbering. It's Zaire Cheney, Tavian Anderson, Wayne Chappelle, Noah Chambers, and then Camden Hill. So that opening tip got tipped out of bounds. The Cardinals will get first possession. We got 32 minutes of action for you here, and a trip to the Elite Eight on the line. Bryce Roberts with it. And off to Shapiro. Shapiro feeds. Now kick out to Roberts. Roberts trying to find a lane. Tough take. Running in to try to get the board was Delicio. It's tipped loose. Tigers control. Other side, Warrensville Heights chased out. Feed over there. That time to Anderson. And now it's with Chambers. Chambers, the scoring leader for the Tigers, averages 16 a game. They get it to Chappelle. Ball was taken away and off the steal. Canfield tries it in the fast break, quickly getting it to the other side. Over to Shapiro, swing it to Weaver from the college distance line. He can't clip it home. Just hit off of the side of the iron that time. Back into the hands of the Tigers. Warrensville Heights on the attack, and first shot is good for the Tigers, and it comes off the hands of Tavian Anderson, giving Warrensville Heights their first points of the game. And a quick substitution coming in for the Tigers is Nicholas Parker has checked in. Tigers 19-5 on the season. The Cards are 21-4 on the campaign. Mentioned these two teams met in last year's regional semifinals. It's a rematch of the same place here. It was right here, March 14th, 2024 in the Memorial Fieldhouse. Coach Velakovic, an assistant coach for that Cardinal team, taking over as the head skipper this year. Roberts goes to Shina, left unguarded. Shina hands off to Delicio, and he'll control. Tigers with a slim 2-0 advantage early into this first quarter, 6:43 and moving. Shina from the top deals to Shapiro. Roberts with it, gets the screen, looks for an opening, gets an opening. The scoop layup won't go, and the rebound by the big man Chappelle. Wayne Chappelle stands at 6'6", and he's going to pose a big issue for the Cards inside, and a jump ball called, as trying to wrestle it away was Camden Hill, but he got called in for the jump ball. Possession arrow favoring the Tigers, so it will be Warrensville Heights basketball. 6:22 remaining first quarter of play. Inbounding baseline. Tigers get it out to Parker. Parker finding Hill. Hill in the mid-range, stops, pops, little short. Rebound, though, grabbed by Warrensville Heights. Cheney with it. As Cheney, a misfire on the pass, put a lot of steam behind it to Chappelle. And Wayne Chappelle saying maybe just a little bit of the mustard off of it this time. 6:08 left to go, first quarter of play. Both teams offensively trying to figure out one another. 2-0, Warrensville Heights with the edge. And the shot, put it up, put it in. And another one coming at the stripe as Jake Delicio responds on the other end and looks for the first lead of the night for the Cards. First foul called on Camden Hill in the first overall on either team in this game. Delicio looking for the Cards' first lead. It's a little strong off the back iron. Both teams brought great crowds to the Memorial Fieldhouse here tonight for this Thursday night regional semifinal action. Sounds like the roof off of this fieldhouse ready to explode off of anything that either team is able to do. Parker deals out Cheney. Back over to Parker in that near wing. Work it to the top. Chambers decides to pull the trigger. That's off the iron, off the top of the glass, and out of bounds. Turn it over. Back to the Cards. Dead ball. They'll bring it up. Baseline, pressuring the inbounder and the ball handler. 3 in the front court with the Cards. And get it to Delicio on the bounce pass. Delicio guarded by Hill. He'll cross the timeline. Go to Shina on the wing. Shina takes it to the top, keeping his dribble alive, looking for that handoff. Instead, passes to Shapiro. Kick to the top. Weaver open from there. Shot a little strong. Rebounded, though. Shina there to get another chance at it. Or excuse me, that was Delicio rather on the rebound. Now over to Shapiro, right side of the lane, attacks in and out of the cylinder. Tried on the layup attempt. Rebounded Chambers quickly to the other side. Pulls the floater and finds the twine. 4-2 Tigers retake a lead. 4:45 left in this first quarter of play. Bryce Roberts back on the logo, bounces to Shina, gives it to a cutting Shapiro, out to Weaver. Weaver gets a couple in the air and gets a foul called as the Tigers couldn't stay rooted on the ground, went airborne, and it was too late. Weaver able to draw the second foul of the game for the Tigers. Just the first, though, on number 10, Wayne Chappelle, their big forward, 6'6" senior. As Weaver will have a pair at the stripe to try to tie it up. 4:33 left to go in this first quarter of play. Ty Bartell, YSNLive.com. We're so thankful that you're able to join us for this Thursday evening of basketball action. One of the only games on the network tonight. And if you couldn't make it out here to Canton, we're so happy that you chose to spend your evening with your sports network. Weaver connecting on that first attempt, looking to tie it up with this second. And he will. Back to even we are at 4 apiece. Weaver and Delicio each supplying 2 points for the Cards. Almost lost the ball there, able to get it to Hill. Hill into the lane, bounce pass. What a find that time to Chappelle. Hill with a beautiful bounce pass, and Chappelle left underneath the iron wide open. What a find on the assist. 6-4 Tigers back in front. Canfield has yet to taste a lead in this one. Levani gives to Weaver. Weaver back over to Roberts. Roberts guarded by Chambers. Little handoff to Delicio, now to Shapiro. They work it to Roberts on the wing. Delicio looks to attack, stops at the free throw line. Work back out to the top, Levani. Levani finds a lane, gets it off the glass and gets it to go. As Levani gets his first points of the evening. 3:23 left to go in this first quarter of play. 6-6, we're knotted up. Into the corner, little sidestep, Hill in and out. Unfortunate bounce out of the iron that time for Camden Hill, and the Cards look for their first lead now. 3:05 left to go, first quarter. Low scoring first quarter of play, 6-6 our score. Live from the Canton Memorial Fieldhouse, Levani. Oh, what a move, Levani again to the rim for 2. He was voted by his teammates as the guy you don't want your daughter to date, but he's the guy that you want taking all the shots right now. He's got the last 4 for Canfield. Block on the other end. Cardinals taking it in the fast break. Stopped up is Roberts in the far wing. Chambers able to stop him. Oh, and a nice steal. Pick in the pocket was Hill, but he couldn't finish the shot on the other end. Roberts the rebound. Kick to Weaver, now to Shapiro. Good defense again by the Tigers to close up the fast break opportunity. But what a missed opportunity by Hill after a beautiful steal. He read it like a book, jumped in front of that passing lane, just could not finish the breakaway bucket. Almost another steal, able to keep a hold of it. Delisio has it knocked out of his hands, going out of bounds. And Canfield will keep it baseline, friendly side of the floor. 2 ticks, under 2 minutes to play in this first period, minute 58. Cardinals protecting their first lead of the game at 8-6. As Drew Shapiro stands just to the left of the basket. Friendly side, baseline, inbounds it to DeLucia. Hand off Shapiro. Shapiro near the elbow, almost lost the dribble, got it back, picked it up, handed off to the far corner in Roberts, and he'll bring it out to the logo. Roberts looks to attack with his left, stops on the elbow, kicks out Levani. Levani will take it back out, opposite side wing on the far side. Looking to bring it up to the top from the lane, puts it off the window again. Are you kidding me? Nick Levani, 6 in a row as he's come off the bench with an absolute spark for the Cards. Other side, Tigers trying to respond. Off line on the shot attempt, pinballing off some hands. It was, I believe, with the Cards. A whistle was blown. And I think they're actually, it is going to be on Tavian Henderson. First on the Tigers, third on the Tigers, excuse me, first on Anderson. Ben Weaver back in, minute 14 left to go in this first quarter. Cardinals protecting a 10-6 lead. Nick Levani the last 6 points in a row for Canfield. Delisio, right side of the lane, denied there. Great defense being supplied by Parker there, keeping him in front. Back out to the logo. Kickoff, far sideline with it, Levani. He picks up his dribble, goes to Delisio. Delisio, full head of steam to the bucket, and he'll finish. Defense in his face, and it didn't matter. Jake Delisio clears his second bucket of the first quarter, and that lead doubling the output of the Tigers. It's 12-6 Canfield. 35 seconds to go. Tigers trying to settle things down, trailing by 2 possessions now. Cardinals currently on an 8-0 run. Tigers look content to potentially just hold for the last shot as out by the logo. No pressure being applied to Parker. He'll take it down to 10 seconds without putting it on the hardwood. Levani bleeds up, plays man-to-man now, forces him into a dribble, and a foul called as the Cards do have some to give. That's just the first called on Canfield, as Levante will be picking up his first on the team. Not the first time the Cards have done this during this playoff trip, too. And you try to hold for that last shot. They try to strategically foul if they have some to give to kind of place you in a spot to where it's really tough to get a shot off. I get another one in, pull the trigger from downtown and knock it down. As that was a big-time shot by Tylen Bryant from distance to knock this down to a 1-possession game. Back and forth we were as both teams held the lead. Both teams having some big-time shots in that first quarter of play. 12-9, Canfield leads it after the first 8 minutes. Big shout-out to our friends over at 21 WFMJ, one of our proud sponsors here on your sports network. Also, big shout-out to LD3 Logistics for bringing this regional semifinal game to your homes free of charge. Couldn't do it without the presenting sponsor, LD3 Logistics. So again, a big shout out to them. Ball goes out of bounds, off of the Tigers' last, and it will remain Canfield Cardinal basketball. Big bucket by Tylen Bryant to cut that deficit down to 3 points, 1 possession to end that first quarter. Canfield with possession to start here in the second. Trying to build on this 3-point advantage. Go to Weaver in that one-on-one matchup, and an offensive foul is called As Jalen Billingsley able to draw the offensive foul. First on the Cards in the quarter, first on Weaver personally. Ball was tipped, but right back into the hands of the Tigers. Tough take, and it's overshot underneath by Chappell. Off of the missed shot by Chappell. Cardinals take it out towards the timeline. Work it over to Roberts. Roberts baseline cut, and he rode the back iron but had no net to be found. Off the rebound, Tigers try to tie it up with one shot. Overshot it though. That time as Bryant looked for his second three of the game. Running baseline, Shapiro there. Defense was great the first time, but able to get the board and the bucket was Cheney with some second chance points. And Zaire Cheney stayed persistent off of the first miss and able to work some second chance points. Cards clinging to a 1-point lead, 12-11, 6:45 remaining here in the first half. Shina bounces to Shapiro, ball out of bounds. No, it stayed inbounds and saved. Nice time by Bryant. Off the Bryant save, he's on the far side wing. They work it to the opposite side, near side now. Cheney stops and pops, 15-footer is true. And the Tigers, 2 buckets in a row, take a 13-12 lead here in the second quarter. Roberts to Shapiro from downtown. Front iron shot, that one no good. Cheney up tempo to the other side. Tried to cut baseline with it, whistle blown on the floor. Cards called for the contact, and it was on Roberts, his first. Off that foul from Roberts, second on the Cards, 5:57. Inbounding Bryant. Tylen Bryant looking for a pass, finds the cutter and the bucket by Cheney. Zaire Cheney got loose for the score. Shapiro to Shina. Bringing it to the top, back to Shapiro. Tried to set the screen on him. Shapiro pressured, gets over to Roberts. Roberts brings it out towards the timeline. Calls for movement. Roberts feeds to that corner in Delisio. Get it back to Shina and denied from behind, and Bryant ends up with it. What a denial that time by Warrensville Heights. Chappelle. And a handoff way downtown. Connects. Jalen Billingsley connects from downtown and captures a 6-point lead for the Tigers. Timeout, Canfield. And we got one with them back after this. It has certainly been a game of runs. The Cards had an 8-0 run in that first quarter, as the Warrensville Heights Tigers have opened up the second quarter on a 9-0 run. Currently 18-12. Tigers in front of the Cards. Coach Volakovich for Canfield calling the full timeout. First one utilized by either team. Cards trying to get back into a groove. Shina. Levanti with it. Now over to Shapiro, near side wing three, and he'll knock it down. Just what the doctor ordered as Drew Shapiro delivers with a big time triple. Right out of that timeout, knocking it back down to a 1-possession game. First points of the second quarter for the Cards. They'll work the steal, turn it up tempo to the other side. Trying to put it up and in was Roberts. Couldn't convert the shot. Fast break opportunity the other way. Shot attempt, and it's a dunk. Slammed home by Chappelle. Weaver with it. Bounce to Levani. Now to Shapiro again from distance. Shapiro misfires. Delicio there to clean it up. Delicio gets his 5th and 6th point of the evening. 3.5 left first half. 3 from downtown. That one, misfire completely on the air ball, and it's out of bounds. One of the Tigers coming in, and it's Jalen Gum. Ray McCune in for the Cards. Canfield was so excited to get him back into the rotation. 3-point game, 3 minutes, 20 seconds remaining in the first half. McCune gives up to Shapiro. Shapiro near the top, hand off Roberts. Roberts stops near the elbow, backs out towards the wing. Roberts looks to drive it himself. Tough take, Roberts. Able to get it through. Gum was all over him defensively. And Roberts just had a better offensive move in that exchange, contorting his body around the defense. Ball tipped, let go by the Cards, and it'll go out of bounds, turned over by the Tigers. Canfield gets it back, down by a point. 2:48 left to go in this second period. Cardinals weathered that 9-0 run, weathered the storm to start this second quarter, and have brought it back to a 1-point game. Re-looking for that lead. Levani, as Levani gets the foul drawn on him, as Gum gets called for his second and limited minutes here. Or no, excuse me, just his first personal. They tagged that other one in this quarter to Anderson. Parker back in for the Tigers. Roberts gets the inbound, go to Shapiro. 2.5 left, first half of play. Canfield trailing by a point. Cards looking for that lead. Shapiro. Back near the timeline, goes to Roberts. Roberts hands off Shapiro. Back to that logo again, over to Roberts. Guarded by Parker is Roberts. 2:08 left to go. Roberts looks to attack, hands off to Levani. Levani takes it to the free throw line, kicks out to Shapiro. Shapiro, a little bit of the shake and bake, gets it to his left, trying to spin in that lane, look for an opening, couldn't find any. Kicks it out to Delicio, gets past the defense, all the way to the rack for 2. Canfield back on top on a counter run of their own, 21-20, Cards in front. Tigers in a trap, ball almost poked loose. Work it to that wing, three-pointer up, it's down. Big time bucket on the other side. Tylen Bryant, his second 3 of the game. He's got 6 points. Cards trail it by 2, trying to put him on ice. Gets one in the air and gets the foul called as Bryant called for the contact. His first. It's the second on the Tigers. Both teams with 2 fouls apiece. Minute 21 left in this first half. And 2 free throws coming up here for Drew Shapiro, looking to tie it at 23. First one, though, a little bit off, wide right. Ben Weaver back into this ball game, presumably for the final 81 seconds of this half. Jalen Billingsley back in for the Tigers on the other side. Shapiro with his second attempt at the stripe, and that one will go, and that lead's trimmed down, back down to a single point. Tigers slowly crossing the timeline with it. Noah Chambers has it, guarded by Delicio. Final minute of the first half. Chappelle tries to go to Chambers and able to get it to him through the active hands of Delicio. 50 seconds left. First half of play as Tigers. Chappelle with it. Now to Chambers. Chambers face guarded, able to get it to Cheney. Cheney taking it to the wing. Shapiro on him defensively. Bounce pass over to Chambers, and a timeout going to be called by Coach Johnson. Talking things over with his Tigers squad. 30 seconds remain in this first half. We got a quick break of action as well. Big shout out to our friends at Mill Creek Parks, and also a big shout out to our friends at LD3 Logistics, the presenting sponsor of tonight's regional semifinal contest. So be sure to support our friends over at LD3 Logistics and support those who are supporting your kids here tonight. As the Tigers, with 24 seconds remaining in this first half, looking to stretch their lead further than a point before the end of this first half. Chambers with it. 5 seconds to go. Delicio on Chambers. Relentless defense. Gets it through, and the dunk by Chappelle to end the first half as a big momentum boost for the Tigers to take into the halftime locker room. 25-22, Warrensville Heights leads it by 3 after 16 minutes of play. Ty Bartel, your sports network. We're back with the second half of action after this 10-minute intermission here on ysnlive.com. Don't go anywhere, folks. We're back after this. Welcome back, everybody. Ty Bartel, ysnlive.com, with the start of the second half here from the Canton Memorial Fieldhouse in this Division 3, Region 13, Division 4, I should say, Region 13 regional semifinal matchup. The Warrensville Heights Tigers up 25-22 after 16 minutes of action. We got 16 more minutes in store for you right here to determine who's going to the Elite Eight in the regional championship game to take on the Glenville Tarblooders, who ended up beating the Buckdole Griffiths in the previous contest. 6 p.m. start time that one was. Glenville also had a run-in with this Canfield team last year. Glenville lost to the Cards in the district championship game that was out at Louisville in last year's playoff run. Tigers, nice cut. Cheney just cut through the lane with a burst on that turbo. Speed racing his way to the rim. Lead stretches back to double possessions. 5 points, our separator. Roberts to Shina. Shina at the top, gets a nice feed to Delicio. One dribble to clear some space and find the bottom. Jake Delicio having himself a great game. He's got 10 points now. Ball is traveling violation called. Has tried to go with a jump stop and called for walking was Tabian Anderson. Shapiro gets it back and brings it up the floor. Anderson guarding. Canfield trails it by 3. Roberts has to get the screen from Weaver. They swing it to the near wing in Shapiro. They look to the lane, nothing doing there. Now to the top. Delicio backs out with it. Back out on the logo, on the dribble, sitting in what looks to be a zone kind of play defensively right here. 3-2 by the Tigers. Cards again gonna operate by spreading things out wide here in this zone defense. Try to create some space for these one-on-one matchups. It's Delicio, the tough take, went right at Camden Hill and said, you got great defense, let me show you a little bit of what I got. What a bucket by Delicio, knocking that deficit down to a point. He's got a dozen, keeping it on the move and just finding his balance again. Hill responds on the other end. Looked like he was going to lose the ball, regained balance, and found the bottom on the other side for his first points of the evening. Cards again trail it by 3, 29-26, Tigers on top. Delicio feeling it and finding it again back right on Hill. Taking that one-on-one matchup, and he's finding all the success he could ask for right now. 14 for Delisio. Back down to a 1-point game. Hill tries to respond, and tried to go for the big alley-oop attempt as hard spill that time for Chappelle. And Chappelle, the big 6'6" forward, looked like he took a hard spill on his hip. And Chappelle gonna have to shoot these 2 free throws. There was a foul called in that exchange as Shina picked up his first. First one goes for Chappelle. And Chappelle with 7 points on the evening now for the Tigers as that lead back to a full bucket. Second one a little strong, and Shina secures the rebound. Canfield trails this by a bucket, 2 points. Roberts goes to Shina. Little handoff to Delisio. He's had the hot hand, trying to continue riding it. Delisio feeling it. Try to go off the back iron. Ball taken by Chappell. Chappell the rebound. 2-point lead for the Tigers. Potentially looking to add to it. 4:47 left in this third quarter of play. Cheney with it. With his left, switching to his right. Hands off Parker. Back to Cheney it goes. Keeping it near the top. Finds Chambers. Chambers finds a little bit of space on the seam, off the window, plus one more at the stripe. Big time bucket. Chambers will get another one at the stripe. Delisio called for his first, and the second foul on the cards. 32-28 Tigers in the lead, looking to add one more. Chambers with 4 points on the night, give them 5. And that lead to 5 now for Warrensville Heights. Back to 5. Shina with it. Find Delisio. Shapiro attacks the basket, gets some space, couldn't finish the shot. Trying to save the ball, but out of bounds. It went off of Shina last. Tigers trying to start putting some more momentum into these sails. 4 minutes left, third quarter of play. They lead it by 5. Chambers handoff, Cheney into the lane, give up last second. What a find to Chappell. And Chappell, another bucket for him. He's got 9 points now on the evening, and that lead to 7. 3 possessions now. Canfield desperately looking for a bucket, trying to calm things down. Shina to Levani. Finds Shapiro. Shapiro from distance. Left it short. Rebound, Chambers. Other side, and it's going to wave it off. It's an offensive foul, no doubt. Able to draw it. Beautifully done. I was going to say that looks like a charge all day. And who else but Nick Levani? As Anderson called for the charge. Coaching staff for the Tigers trying to tell him, go around that next time instead of through it. You're going to get called for it every time, and great positioning by Levani to even force the charge and get the turnover. Cardinals needing some offense. Ball turned over, though, as beautifully in the passing lanes. Chambers gives it up, and the ball knocked out of bounds off of the Tigers' last. And no, they're going to call a foul from the near sideline. Other official calling for it. And they're going to call it on Shapiro for the contact. Couple free throws coming up at the stripe as looking to stretch this lead as much as 9, Tavian Anderson. A timeout being taken by the Cards as Coach Velakovic will talk things over and try to ice Anderson at the stripe. We'll take a break with them back after this. 3 minutes, 5 seconds left in this third quarter of play. The Warrensville Heights Tigers up by 7, looking to stretch it further with a couple free throws at the line by Tavian Anderson. Anderson has a couple points on the evening. Looking to give one of the largest leads of the night for the Tigers, but a misfire on the first attempt. As he'll look to split the difference at the stripe. Second one will go, and that lead to 8 for the Tigers. Shapiro with the Cards trailing by 8, needing a bucket, but another turnover. Chambers the steal and the score, and the lead to double digits. Cards back against the wall. They need a response in the worst way. 2:35 to go. Third quarter of play. Delisio. Hand off Shapiro. They get it to Weaver on the cut. Weaver one dribble, tough take, and he'll get fouled. Ben Weaver stops the clock and gets a couple shots at the stripe. Zaire Cheney called for the first foul, his first, and the second overall on the Tigers in the quarter. Canfield needs all that they can get, trying to clean this deficit up as much as they can before the end of this period. And Weaver connects on the first. Too many turnovers in this quarter for Canfield to their liking, as a lot of fast break opportunities that have been cleared by the Tigers. They get the turnover and they work so quick getting it down the floor. Weaver goes 2 for 2 at the stripe. Knocks that deficit back down to 8. 2:19 left to go. Third quarter. Chambers in trouble. Gets it to Parker across the court, and they cross the timeline with it. Anderson. Cheney. Pass into Chappell. Under 2 minutes, third quarter of play, 8-point contest. Chambers with it on the logo. Canfield pressuring ball. They bleed off at Cheney, giving him a little bit of space, trying to get the trap. Trying to play keep away, but it's a turnover as Roberts, the steal, gives up one last second to Delisio, and he'll find the bottom. Jake Delisio with a sweet 16 on the evening for Canfield. It's a 6-point game. Cards looking for a stop. 68 seconds left. Chambers deals back to Parker. Dish back over to Chambers. We're in our final 60 seconds of the third. Cheney running the free throw line. Kick back to Chambers. 50 seconds left. Canfield able to force one turnover already towards the final 2 minutes of this third quarter. Ball out of bounds. Cards hit it last as Roberts tried to jump that passing lane. 41.3 seconds to go in this third. 6 points. The deficit for Canfield, 38-32. Tigers in the lead. Warrensville Heights. Go back to Billingsley. And Chambers with it. 35 seconds left in the third. Chambers gets past Levani defensively. Kick back Cheney. Chambers, and foul will be called as Levani will get called for the contact. That was the last to give in this quarter for the Cards, and second personal called on Levani. 6 points, still the separator. 24 seconds now. Tiger basketball with the lead. Chambers crossing the timeline with it. Levani looked for the steal. It was tipped to the backcourt. No over and back called, and another foul is called as Levani called for his third. And now bonus situation here for the Tigers as Chambers with a pair at the stripe. Coming with 12.1 seconds to go. Chambers first, a misfire. Strong on the attempt. Highland Bryan back in. And Shina back in for DeLucia on the Cardinal side. 12.1 seconds left in the third. The second attempt by Chambers. And that one will get the friendly roll off the iron. The lead goes to 3 possessions. Now 7 points our deficit for the Cards. Chambers securing his 7th point with that made free throw. 9 seconds left. Cards looking for a last-second shot attempt. Roberts trying to give it to him. It's blocked. Cheney loses the handle on it. And the Tigers unable to get a shot off in time, as that'll take us to the end of the third quarter. Tigers lead by 7 through 3 quarters of play. It's been 24 minutes of action. We got a final 8 minutes of regulation in this regional semifinal matchup. Ty Bartel, YSNLive.com, back after this. I tell you what, folks, no one better than Dana Bolish, Brittany Bissell, and all the gang over at 21 WFMJ with their 5 Guys Hootin' News. For all the additional coverage you needed all basketball season long, our friends at 21 WFMJ have and always will have you covered. We are in our final 8 minutes of regulation here, start of the fourth quarter. Canfield trails the Warrensville Heights Tigers 39-32. Delicio tried to start with a bang on the triple attempt as Weaver had it wrestled away loose. Ball stays in bounds and taken away by the Tigers. .735, Tigers by 7. Bounce pass goes to Chambers in the corner. He has it. And a bleed off the defense. Almost lost the handle, and a timeout called as Coach Johnson calls for the 32nd break of action. Both teams calling 2. Both teams left with 3. We got a break as well back after this. Back here out of that timeout by the Tigers. Warrensville Heights with possession and a 7-point lead. Jalen Gum back in for Warrensville Heights, making another appearance. Big opportunity for the Tigers. Can stretch that lead to double digits here in the fourth quarter with a shot from distance. Canfield on the ropes currently, but nowhere near knocked out. It takes a lot more to put away this Cardinals team, and the Tigers and Coach Johnson knows it. Ball is off the hands of Heights last and back to the Cards. Tried to get that laser beam of a pass into the hands of Anderson, but it went right through the fingertips and out of bounds. Canfield basketball. They trail it by 7. They desperately need some offense. Can't afford to continue falling behind. They need to try to trade punches and get some back with a 7-point deficit. Shapiro from distance, short. Rebound though, Delicio, and another look for Canfield. It's going to be oh so important as the battle on the glass. Canfield going to need all that they can get. Weaver tries to give it to him, and he does! Ben Weaver rattles one home from the far wing. Big time bucket at a big time moment. And Ben Weaver has been known to give the Cardinals plenty of those throughout the course of this season and his high school career. 4-point game. Shot attempt, mid-ranger, misfire, ball hit. Tried to save it out of bounds. It'll stay with the Tigers as Shapiro tried to get it off of one of the Warrensville Heights players. Tigers will keep it. Shapiro tried saving it, but I do believe that one was touched by the Tigers last, heading out of bounds, so perhaps did them a favor. With the way the game was moving, it was so, I can only imagine how hard. You probably didn't even know on the floor whose possession it was at that time. It was pinballing off of hands left and right. 4 points as Parker absolutely went over and back with it. Flew too close to the sun and got burnt that time, crossing the timeline. And the Tigers give it back up to the Cards. Friendly side of the floor, trailing by 4. Canfield perhaps feeling some momentum, trying to knock this back down to a one-possession game. Give it to Shina, now to Shapiro. Find Roberts from the top. Off the iron, hits some hands, ends up with Delicio. Tried to find Shapiro and a foul called as Tigers all around him. And someone committed the contact. And Chappelle was called for it. His second, first on either team, coming with 5:32 here in the fourth. Levani gets the inbound, handoff Shapiro. Shapiro gave it a look, got a screen, looking for some space. Now to Delicio in the near corner, he'll bring it out. Now to Shapiro on the wing. 5 minutes, 15 seconds here in the fourth. Shapiro from downtown, in and out of the iron, another missed attempt by the Cards on a solid look, but great defense still being played by Warrensville Heights. Chambers to Cheney, feed to the corner, three-pointer up, it's down. Jalen Billingsley, a big-time triple, puts them back up by 7. Roberts cuts, and he will be fouled from behind. Trying to go baseline, second foul called on the Tigers in the quarter. And a 30-second break of action called by Canfield. They'll have possession out of this timeout, but they still trail it now by 7 points. 4:48 remaining in this ball game. Ty Bartell, your sports network. We're back after this. Coming out of that Cardinal timeout, Canfield with possession. 2 timeouts left for the Cards, 3 for the Tigers. Get it to the cutting Delicio, and Jake Delicio, another bucket. He's got 18 to lead both squads. Game high scorer in tonight's contest. Back down to a 5-point contest. Chambers with it. Levani up to guard him. Chambers into work. The floater up off the window and good. You're at a point of the game if you're Canfield, you can't be trading buckets. You need some stops. You need a run. Delicio. 4:10 left in this ball game. Hand off Shapiro. Feed to Weaver. Find Delicio on the wing. Shapiro tries to get some space. Dishes back to Delicio. Now to Weaver. Weaver tries to cut baseline, and a blocking foul going to be called on the Tigers. Billingsley called for the contact. First on him, second on the Tigers here in the quarter. 3:51 left. Shapiro tried to get it. The pass inside. Ball goes back into the hands of Shapiro. He'll deal to Delicio. Shot up. Couldn't get it to finish, but he will get fouled to go to the line for 2. And 1 would have been A big-time bucket for the Cards, but that'll be foul number 3 now on the Tigers. They have 1 left to give for the remainder of this quarter and this regulation of this game. Foul was called on number 2, Zaire Cheney, his second. Delicio, though, missing on the first, and every one of those misses hurts a little bit more in these final stretch minutes of this fourth quarter. Delicio having himself a great game to this point, 18 points, but he misfires on both of them. Roberts with it, kick out. Shapiro tries for the 3, left it on the iron. As Chambers tries to wrestle it away, but a jump ball gonna be called. As Canfield able to fight for the possession arrow. It does favor the Tigers. They keep possession. But the arrow does favor the Cards. Should there be another jump ball exchange. 7 points the separator. Under 3.5 to go. Parker brings it out of trouble, kicks to the corner, 3-pointer up, strong. Chappell had it knocked out of his hands, and they'll keep it. Tiger basketball. 3:19 left to go here in the fourth. Tigers inbound it to Billingsley. Now to Cheney. Cheney the shake and bake. Stop, kick, find, and beautiful bucket. As Nick Parker the score, the lead up to 9. Big time lead for the Tigers as the Cardinals, seeing if they have some extra wind in their sails, trying to make a comeback. They trail this one by 9 points, 3 possessions. Big 3 minutes and 7 seconds of action left in this one. The Canfield Cardinals have possession, but they are against the ropes right now, and they need to land some big-time shots to try to get back into this one and keep their hopes alive of a regional final berth. You got to play as close as you can right now to mistake-free basketball. Trailing by 9 points. This thing balloons any further, and that hill may be insurmountable for you to try to climb here in this fourth quarter, late going of this fourth quarter. Canfield. Bounce to Levani, and Levani from behind has it off of his chest. They're saying it was blocked. Coach Volakovic incensed. Looking for the foul, didn't get it. Parker gets that one in. Chambers to the other side. Cheney with it. Trying to pressure Cheney. Chambers has it near the logo. Back over Cheney, trying to salt away some time. 2:35 left in this game. Ball goes to Cheney. They try to deal it on the baseline, cut to Chappell, but turned over to the Cards. Canfield trying to breathe life back into this team as Levani cuts baseline, has it stripped. No, fouled from behind as Cheney called for the contact. And that's the last to give for the Tigers. Next one puts Canfield at the line in a bonus situation. It's Cheney's third foul. This one does come in the act of shooting, so 2 free throws coming up here for Levani. And Levani makes the first. Need all that you can get. Landon Shina back in for Canfield. Levani's second at the stripe. That one short, bounces off a hand and ends up with Parker for the Tigers. Cheney to Chambers, back to Cheney. They get it to Parker. Parker slips, and he loses the handle on the ball. Taken away by the Cards. Shapiro with it. Shapiro drives in, and he'll get fouled to go back to the line. Bonus now for Canfield. And the penalty for the Tigers. Drew Shapiro now with 2 free throws at the stripe, and he'll convert the first. Knock this down to a 7-point game. Parker checks out. Bryant in for the Tigers. Minute 58 left in this fourth. Shapiro trying to make it a 2-possession game. And he will. Canfield still with some life in this one. 6 points now, the deficit. Chambers tries to get through it. Almost, and does get through it. Canfield trying so desperately to force the turnover. Couldn't quite do so. Billingsley back to Chambers. They find Cheney on the wing. 6 points, the deficit for Canfield. Chambers has it on the logo. They bring the trap and the foul called. Canfield has all the fouls they can give. None called on them. That's just their first in the quarter. Second on Delicio. Just the first on the cards, coming with a minute 32 left in this fourth quarter. Canfield looking to try to force another turnover. They go to the backcourt. Chambers stopped up but gets fouled as Shapiro went for the steal, instead made contact. That'll be the second on Shapiro, second on the cards as a team. Only 2 seconds ticked away off the clock. In that 90 seconds, minute 30 left in this regional semifinal. Parker back into the game for the Tigers. He'll inbound it to Cheney and get it back. Parker with it. Shot up and down, able to get it over Shina. 8 points, the separator. Time ticking away, 75 seconds left in this one. Roberts to Levani, jab step, Levani looks to attack, spins, gets a lane, can't finish the shot, hits some hands, and a foul gonna be called. No, off of the Tigers last, no foul, just the whistle for the possession. Going out of bounds. It was ricocheting off of so many hands. Official must have been whistling on one of the attempted saves by one of the players, because that ball was in bounds in the lane when the whistle was blown. Canfield needs a bucket. Way downtown, Shapiro couldn't give it to him. Ball knocked loose, Chambers has it, and he'll get fouled immediately. And the Tiger faithful can begin to feel it. Third foul of the game, of the quarter by the Cards. They have 1 left to give. 8 points the difference. Get it to Cheney. Zaire Cheney, the floater, in and out of the iron. Rebounded out to Billingsley. Give it to Chambers, continuing to salt away the clock. And a fourth foul called on the Cards as Shapiro picks it up. Parker to inbound. Get it to Cheney in the backcourt. And he'll get fouled by Delicio. That'll be the 5th bonus situation now for the Tigers as Cheney with a couple at the stripe. First one strong for Cheney. Second one also falls short. So an empty trip that time for the Tigers. Time not on the Canfield side. They need quick points. McCune out to Levani. Find Weaver. Weaver, tough time handling it. Back to Levani. 32 seconds left. Shapiro into the lane. Tries to put it up and left it on the iron. Nothing going right for the Cards here in the fourth. Cheney to the other side. He'll get it to Chappelle and he'll dunk it down. And that will be the exclamation point on this one. A 10-point lead for the Tigers. 10 seconds running off of the clock in this one. As the Warrensville Heights Tigers have claimed a regional semifinal and will go to the Elite Eight to take on the Glenville Tar Blooders in the regional final matchup here at the Canton Memorial Fieldhouse this upcoming Saturday. What a game it was, and what redemption it has been for the Tigers in claiming this victory after losing by darn near by 22 points last year. They get the ultimate redemption, come back and win by 10, and what looks to be a matchup that we may see in years to come here in the playoffs on your sports network. Well, folks, in case that is it for myself and for us here on your sports network, only limited games. The Louisville Leopards, the Warren John F. Kennedy Eagles, and the Hoban Knights are the only ones still alive. And should this be my personal last basketball contest announcing this season, I want to thank you all for tuning in, watching, and supporting YSN Live Basketball as you have had done all season long. As I'm always trying to hold on to this season as long as I can. I love telling the stories of these kids, these schools, and these communities, and it's been a great ride, especially here with this Canfield Cardinals squad that has so many seniors and so much senior leadership and talent that they will be missing going into next year. But no doubt that this group of Cards have certainly left their impact and imprint on this Canfield basketball program. 20 wins plus for 4 seasons in a row. You just don't see that happen too often, folks. So hats off to this Canfield Cardinals squad. They will certainly be remembered for years to come despite the bitter ending. I'd like to thank you all for tuning in and watching this broadcast of high school basketball on YSNLive.com. To our proud owners, both DJ Yoakley and Brian Scott, able to bring this game to each and every person unable to make it in attendance tonight. To our GMs, both Steve Leslie and Chris Ziegler, for the multitude of hats they wear and the many things they do for the Mahoning Valley, and we thank them for each and every single one of them. To LD3 Logistics for bringing this game to you free of charge to all of your homes, for those who couldn't make it out here to Canton tonight. And most importantly to all of you who tuned in and helped support these kids, schools, and communities. You guys are really and truly what YSN Live is all about. And so we thank you. Whether you are tuning in from the Warrensville Heights community, supporting your Tigers, maybe getting your first taste of YSNLive.com, we want to remind you that YSN is a completely free service to schools. So if you want to find out how to get your sports network involved at your school, it's easy. Contact us. Email us, in fact, at info@ysnlive.com. That is info@ysnlive.com. One more time, it is info@ysnlive.com. And, of course, if you're back home in the Canfield community supporting your Canfield Cardinals, we want to thank you for your continued and constant support of not only Canfield Cardinal Athletics, but also of your sports network. Or wherever you may be, in between or out wide in the sport of high school basketball, this is Ty Bartell bidding you all a farewell and a good night, everybody.